So let's talk about one of the biggest shifts happening in the world of work right now. We're going to dive into what it really takes to go from being a solo freelancer to building your own digital business. Let's get right into it. First things first, you got to understand just how massive this change is. This isn't just a new trend. According to research from Dr. Ahmed Salah Abdelhamid Ahmed, what we're seeing is a fundamental transformation. It's a whole new way of thinking about how we create and grow value in the economy. So, where did this all start? Well, to get the full picture, we need to zoom out a bit and look at the revolution that really set the stage for everything that's happening today. I mean, think about it. Not too long ago, freelancing was kind of on the fringes, right? Now it's a huge part of the global economy. Thanks to the internet connecting everyone and all these new tools we have, the very idea of a job is being completely rewritten. This isn't just a phase, it's a deep structural shift in how we work. Okay, so how do you make that leap? How do you go from just trading your hours for dollars to building a real business that can grow? Well, the answer really boils down to one incredibly powerful idea. And here it is, recurring revenue. This is the absolute key. Entrepreneur Pat Flynn even calls it the holy grail. See, instead of constantly hunting for the next project, you build a system where people pay you regularly, every month, every year. That creates stability, it creates predictability, and that's the foundation you can build a real business on.
And the math on this doesn't have to be intimidating at all. Actually, it can be super simple. Just look at this. If you can get 100 people to pay you just $10 a month for your awesome content or community, that's $1,000 in predictable revenue every single month. And believe me, that's just the starting line. So how do you actually make this happen? Well, there are two main ways people are doing this right now. First, you have membership sites, which are all about exclusive content and building a community. And second, you have software as a service, or SaaS. Think Netflix or your favorite design tool. You're providing a service that's so valuable, people are happy to pay for it over and over again. But a little word of warning here. Building software is not for the faint of heart. Pat Flynn tells this story about a project that ended up costing him $15,000. So what went wrong? Well, a few things. First, he was just chasing the money, not really trying to solve a genuine problem. Second, and this is a big one, he never actually checked if his audience wanted it. And third, he couldn't explain his vision clearly to the people building it. It's such a crucial lesson. You have to validate your idea before you pour time and money into it. So how do you avoid a disaster like that? How do you build something that people will actually want and stick with? Whether you're building a membership or a piece of software, there's one secret weapon that just changes the game completely, and that is community. This quote from Pat Flynn just says it all. This is the secret to keeping people around, to keeping them paying month after month. They might sign up for your amazing course or your cool tool, but they stay for the connections they make. The connection with you, and maybe even more important, the connection with each other. That's what makes your thing stick. And how do you make that happen? Well, it takes work. You've got to show up consistently with new content, with live calls and Q&As, by keeping the forum lively, and maybe even creating special events. You're building a place that people genuinely don't want to leave. Because here's the biggest risk you face: a dead community. Pat Flynn calls it a ghost town. Imagine a new member logs in, all excited, and they just see crickets. No new posts, no conversations. They're immediately going to wonder why they're paying you. Activity is the lifeblood of a community, which is why so many successful founders end up hiring a dedicated community manager. Okay, so you get the model, you get why community is so crucial. Now for the fun part, what tools do you actually use to build all this? Let's get practical. Two of the absolute biggest names you'll hear in this space are Skool and Circle. At a really high level, you can think of it like this. Skool is built from the ground up to be community first, meaning it's all about engagement. Circle, on the other hand, is more of an all-in-one solution with a wider range of tools for your business. Let's break down the differences. Skool is pretty much perfect if what you want is a super simple, fun, and gamified community. It has leaderboards and points built right in, and the pricing is straightforward. Circle is more for creators who need more advanced features, like splitting up their audience into different groups, selling a bunch of different courses, or setting up complex automations. The fact that it has its own live streaming feature tells you a lot about its focus. So which one's the right choice? Honestly, it really just comes down to your main goal. If your number one priority is building a crazy engaged, competitive, and fun community, Skool is probably your best bet. But if you need a powerful, flexible engine to run a more complex business with multiple products, then Circle is probably the way to go.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the huge economic shift to the business model to the power of community and even the specific tools you can use. So let's just tie it all together.
You know, when you lay it all out, the path from freelancer to founder is actually pretty clear. It all starts with understanding the big picture shift that's happening. From there, you build your foundation on recurring revenue. Then, you bring it to life with a vibrant, engaged community. And finally, you pick the right tools to power the whole system.
Look, this massive change in how we work and create is not some far off future thing. It is here, right now. The tools have never been easier to use, and the playbook has never been clearer. So, really, there's only one question left to ask: what are you going to build?